Hello, my name is Ashley Sellers. I'm a speech language pathologist and owner and operator of Speech, Language, and Beyond. I'm coming to you today because I wanted to provide an update to you guys about what's been going on with my private practice. I know that it has been a minute since I've done a video, and I'm still very thankful for all the people who have gone back to my videos from almost 2 years ago, and they still are very much liking that information and finding it useful. I'm thankful for everyone who has emailed me, who have left me comments. It's very appreciative. And today I just kind of want to come. This video is more catered towards a speech therapist in the field that is looking to start a private practice from their home and are taking the small steps that are necessary to get their private practice off the ground before they seek going into a building outside of their home, which is what I am also working towards. But right now, I feel very comfortable with where I am and starting small. So for those of you who aren't as familiar with me, you will know that for my particular speech therapy company, I do everything. I don't have a receptionist at this point. I do not have another speech language pathologist that works under me, and I do not have a speech language pathology assistant or anyone that does my billing. I do all of those things myself. Reason being, number one, is because I'm a very do-it-yourself type of person. And if it can be done, I just figure if I have the understanding, if I have the tools, why not try and do it myself? I'm just very particular about my information, how it's done, and having things organized. Eventually, I am looking to outsource my billing. I have someone that I'm actually in communications with right now. About handling my billing, but I just want to make sure that all the paperwork and finances that are required for that are squared away. I do plan on within the next 6 months to a year hiring a speech language pathology assistant. And for the state of Georgia, for any speech therapist that's watching this that's in the state of Georgia, you really can't in this particular area go to school to become a speech language pathology assistant. An assistant in the state of Georgia for speech language pathology, they have to be trained by the speech therapist according to the areas of speech and language that that SLP works under or targets under their private practice. So what I'm doing to prepare for that is, and a way that you have to do that, you have to define what areas does your particular private practice cover. So that could be articulation, language disorder, auditory processing, oral motor, and for children that are ages 3 to 18 years of age, which is basically what my areas are. So what I would do is I'm creating the materials necessary to provide them with their training. You have to give them a test that they have to pass, and all that information has to be submitted to your state licensing board, and through that they're able to get their license, and their license is only valid for as long as your business is in practice or your business is open or active. So I'm actually in the process of coming up with that now. And the way that I also want to do it, my SLPA at this point will not start off initially just working with kids. I only plan on using them in my overflow, and I still have to make sure that the policies and the standards surrounding that I'm doing that correctly, because sometimes when you use a SLPA, you can't bill the same amount of money that you would if a fully certified speech language pathologist as myself were doing the services. And I want to make sure that I really understand the policies that are associated with that. That's another reason why I'm taking my time with that. And another reason too is because I don't want them to be in that role right away, because I could use them to help out with authorizations, that when a fax or referral comes in for a child to receive speech therapy, then they know what to do to get that authorization going, whether it's getting my signature, getting the prescription from the doctor, and then scheduling the eval so that I can have more help in that area. Also being able to go in and actually help with some of the billing and getting that done as well. So I have different areas that I want them to be in first, and as I continue to grow and I hire a staff, then I would move that person up to really work in that position as a SLPA, and to train an administrative assistant that I will eventually have coming in, and I plan on taking in one other SLP. I'm hoping, if it's God's will, because you never know how things are going to go, that this can be something that I can transition to within the next 6 months to 2 years. And I'm not necessarily rushing myself at this point, because as I continue to do the work on my own, I'm realizing what I like, what I don't like, how I want things organized, how I don't want them organized. And I keep a tab of that. I'm coming to understand what type of forms I need versus other forms I don't need. And I do plan on providing you guys a video that shows the different forms that I've used, that I've created, what is my method for receiving referrals, just because I just feel like there are so many young speech therapists such as myself who are looking to get into business by themselves, and eventually you can get there if you plan for it ahead of time. So basically, with that being said, here is an update that has been going on with the business. So I started my business July of 2011. And that during that particular summer, when I started my business, I did not necessarily start working with kids right away, because what I had to do was I had to become a provider for private health insurance companies such as United Healthcare, Optum Health Plans, and Blue Cross Blue Shield. Also, I tried to do most of our Medicaid plans, which are traditional Medicaid, WellCare, Peach States, and AmeriGroup. So I used that summer to get all the paperwork filled out for all of them in order for me to become a provider. And it took me maybe about 6 months to a year to officially get all of those contracts and to be able to understand how to use them. Also in the meantime, what I did was I created letters, letting people know who I was and where I was in the area. I got doctors' information, sent them letters, gave them a copy of my resume so they could have my background and feel me as see that I could be a trusted source to make referrals to, and gave them an opportunity that if they wanted to meet with me or call me so they could get more background information from me, then they could. And at that time, I also went ahead and signed on with the contract with the Babies Can't Wait program in my particular area, which is Albany, Georgia, and got those things done. And in the meantime, I just researched other people who started their practice and all of that. So from July 2011 to July, I'll just say 2012, I had sporadic people. And I also worked on my website. And that's also when I decided to start using YouTube videos as a way to get my name out there. So from July 2011 to July 2012, I had sporadic referrals. And it would just be people who would find my website, and decided to give me a call that lived in my area. It may have been from a Babies Can't Wait referral, someone that I was working with under that program, who once they got out of it, they wanted to continue services. So I think I had about, 2 or 3 referrals that went on for 6 to 7 months, and then it kind of came to a halt. So during that time, what I was doing, because I was providing these services out of my own pocket, my business in the beginning was Babies Can't Wait. I had a contract under my business with another online speech therapy company, and just for privacy purposes, I'm not going to say their name. So at that point, I had online therapy, I did early intervention, and I saw kids privately on the side, and all of that was under the umbrella of Speech, Language, and Beyond. So with my online program, that started off really good for a while, and then they started to make a lot of changes to how they paid you and all of that, and eventually that contract, as I told you in another video, it faded out. And so I went from September 2013 up until now without working with that company anymore. And so around that time, I had said that I wouldn't go back with anybody, but it was getting hard trying to run this business from the money I had already had without using what I had already saved up to keep it going. So I took on a contract from December 2013 up until now. I took on a contract with another online therapy company, which is great, and I'm still not going to say their name because of privacy reasons or whatever. And that was great. And all of a sudden, there are some issues that occurred in my life that are very personal that I don't want to talk about here. It was something kind of tragic. And that's one of the reasons why around that time I kind of stopped making my videos. So I suffered somewhat of a tragic loss, And that had me down for a while. And a way that I kind of got through it is like this door opened as a result of that loss that I had. A door opened where one day I received a referral from a local doctor's office in a smaller rural area. And then all of a sudden I received another one from a neighboring county, and all of a sudden the referrals just started to come in. And that happened as of December 2013. So as a result of that, I was able to cut myself loose from this online therapy company because the referrals are coming in a lot more often now, to where I have enough that I can run my business totally as speech, language, and beyond, with my babies can't wait contract underneath it, which is for my birth to 3-year-old children, to also being able to see kids privately on the side from referrals that I'm receiving from doctors' offices. And now I've had so many people have access to my website that a lot of parents are calling directly and referring themselves. So I have at this point about anywhere between almost 10 to 15 private referrals that I'm handling myself. And these referrals are outside of the Babies Can't Wait program. And I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why I have them. If you live in the state of Georgia right now, a lot of speech therapists are not wanting to work with Well Care because they transitioned out speech therapy services to a third party program. And the way that they are calling themselves paying us is not the way that we're used to doing it. So a lot of speech therapists in my area and around the state of Georgia have opted out of receiving Well Care patients. Okay, so where it was kind of a dark thing for all speech therapists together, it was my rainbow. It was something bright at the end of it for me. Let me tell you my thing. I already have other Medicaid forms of Medicaid that I can still receive monies from to serve my students or to serve my children that have speech therapy disorders, along as well as some private speech therapy coverage with private speech therapy, not private speech therapy companies, but with private health insurers or whatever. And I just feel like, I care genuinely about the children and the families that I serve. And I just do not see turning children away for therapy. It's not like they're not willing to pay us any money at all. And I just feel like I'm so small that I can't afford at this point to say that I'm too good to work with kids because the pay is somewhat different. Now, I don't agree. It's they're not paying us the way that they should. But I have enough patients coming in for me right now that it's not as big of a loss as it would be for a company that is much bigger, who maybe their private therapy company has a significant number of Well Care patients and they are, coming at a loss by continuing to serve them. So I'm not saying what any other speech therapists in the state of Georgia should do. I'm doing what works best for me. And by that happening, I have had an increase in referrals with Well Care patients. But God is so good that once these doctors start referring their patients to me, they eventually started to send me the Peach State children, the traditional Medicaid children, along with other children that have other forms of insurance. So it has all worked out for me. And it's just like when that door opened, that floodgate opened, all the referrals just started to come through. So what I'm telling to you is to just be very patient. And if you keep being consistent, you keep praying about it, being faithful in what you're doing, that door will open. And the ironic part about it, I sent out at least 10 letters in the city of Albany to doctors in this area. And not one of those doctors are one of the people that I'm getting referrals from. I would like to give a shout out in my video to Mitchell County Pediatrics. Their company trusted me enough to start sending me referrals. And also would like to give a shout out to Southwest Pediatrics in Americus, Georgia. These are the two neighboring counties that have helped me build my caseload. And as a result of that, I sent them a thank you letter. I sent them my business cards, and I just asked that they would continue to trust me with their referrals, and they have continued to come in. I would like to thank all of the parents in this area and surrounding counties that have found my website and have trusted me enough to be able to give me those referrals. So I just want to let you know that is what's going on with my business, and I'm finally at the point where I'm strictly speech, language, and beyond under my own umbrella, not under another major company, by myself. And so I thank God for that. It's nothing that I've done on my own. It's because of his strength, his power, his might, his mercy. I'm not trying to get all religious, but I just believe that when you trust him and you let him know what you want and you're genuine and you're honest about it, he will open up doors. And I know that it's because of his grace upon my life why this has happened to me. So I just want to tell all of you out there to just stay faithful. And now what I would like to do is just to kind of give you an overview of what my office is looking like and what my waiting area looks like. And you can look for another video where I will show you some of the forms that I have and what my procedure is for people, accepting people, organizing my referrals, and getting people scheduled, just to kind of give you an idea. And I also want to let you know before we get to that part that you can look, I have new products that are coming out. I have created some more data collection sheets where, let's just say, for example, you're working on a Melissa and Doug puzzle. Like their zoo animal puzzle. I actually have a data collection sheet that coincides with that so that when you're doing your therapy, you already have those language targets pulled out and you know what concepts you're going to target, so you can just go ahead and do your check and your minuses for what they get wrong, what they get right, document on there if you had to do any cueing or prompting. So I have a lot more of those I've created for my own activities I have and for some toys that you would probably, all of us probably have for using with our younger kids. Another thing that I've done, I've created some more of my own products that I think you would like, and they are catered more towards the early intervention, like the 2 to preschool aged type students, but it can be for kids that are a little bit older who are still who's developmentally still in that area. It can also be used for them as well. I am in the process of creating my own Teachers Pay Teachers page for those people who are having difficulty finding my website directly. I'm also going to create an Etsy page because for anybody who has purchased any products from me, you know that right now you can go to my website and you can download those products and create them yourself. But for those people who just want the products already made, I'm creating an Etsy page for speech, language, and beyond products where they will already be packaged and be ready to send out. And I'm just saying, the ones that you download from my website are much cheaper, but once we put in the work in creating the products, buy the materials, and getting them sent off, they will be somewhat higher because you're paying for the convenience of having those already made. So you can look for that to be, I'm looking for that to happen within the next 6 months or so. So I will come back and give you a video when all of my new materials are ready. When my Etsy page has been set up, my Teachers Pay Teachers page has been set up, I will keep you updated. Okay. So let me give you a view.
So I would like to give you just an overview of what my therapy office looks like. The only way I could think to do this was to use my cell phone because it kind of gives me a better view. So this area that you're looking at here, this is pretty much an area where I have all of my credentials on the wall. You see here, I think on the left, that is my bachelor's degree. On the right, that is my ASHA certification. And on the bottom portion, that is my state license. And here I have my laminator, that little black thing that's holding those folders. Those are actually my progress data folders for students that I'm currently serving right now. And then you just see some games, some books, and things of that nature. Also here, in this area, what you see is my testing area. I put it high up just because kids love to pull things down, and I have to be very particular about my testing stuff. And even though I know this shelf here is a little bit lower, I can kind of control them from, you know, coming into this area. And sometimes we will sit there and do some things from there if we need to pull it. But here are some of the testing that I have, and I'm actually in the process of purchasing some more up-to-date evaluations. This area that you see here is basically where I shoot most of my videos from. This is my work area. You can kind of see me here taping myself on my camera here, but this is mainly my work area where I will type up a lot of my reports and things of that nature. And that's like my little bin there with some of my folders that I work out of. If we continue around the room here, you will also see this is kind of where I receive all of my faxes that are coming in from doctors. This is my therapy table. So most of the times when my parents come in, this is where they will be seated. This is where we will take the evaluation notes and everything. everything. This area is just my storage area here, and I'm in the process of getting my locks changed on this door, having some file cabinets installed in here so that I could, you know, make sure that I'm in code with privacy rights and making sure that that all of my paperwork stays confidential. Here's a little speech therapy poster, and here is just another little wall unit that has some toys here at the top, and it also has a lot more of my speech therapy toys. And this door here is actually a door that leads into a bathroom, so I will kind of open that up for you to just kind of get a glance at it. And this is the bathroom that my patients use. And of course, like I said, this is ran from my home. So there is like a little shower curtain there, and that door leads into another bedroom. But that door itself stays locked so they can't enter. But this is mainly the bathroom that they will use. So let's turn that out. And what I'm going to do is kind of walk you down the hall where my clients come in. So down this hall is the hall that they have to walk to. I'm walking out of the office down the hall, but I'll show you what it looks like coming back up. But this is down the hall, and as you can see, this is kind of like my living room area. I'm going to just give you a kind of a view of it, not much for privacy reasons, but they come through here, and this right here is my waiting area. So as you can see, this is the front door to my house, and the foyer, whatever you want to call it, but it's my waiting area. So here in my waiting area, what you see, I have two picture frames. One picture frame has my cancellation policy. There's a notebook there for them to sign in on. There's a stash for my business cards. Here's a little toy that keeps the little kitties occupied, which I plan on putting off a little kitty table. Here to the side with a little chair, so that once they come in and they have to wait for a while, that they can kind of play. Here's another little note that has my office and waiting room policy, so that is there. And then as you can see, here is the waiting area, and I make it known that my waiting area is very small and that it only can hold 2 people at a time. So I only encourage them to bring their the two parents or guardians and the student, the child themselves, so that we can't acquire any extra. So when they come out this way, this is kind of like my living room area, and because I don't have this blocked off, I'm very specific about people not going into this area. And so if we go here, once they come out of the waiting area into here, this is the hall that they walk down to get to my office. These doors are locked, so they cannot get into any of the bedroom doors. This is the hallway they walk down to, and then boom, they enter back into the office. So that's just kind of giving you an overview of what my office looks like. Sometimes this little area right here in the middle of the floor, because my kitties that are so young, sometimes they can't really reach that table. So my really young kitties, we will sit right here in the middle of the floor right here and do some therapy. I just like to get down to their level. So if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to let me know, and I will talk with you guys later.